For decades, the Clovis people have been a central mystery in North American archaeology, often described as the continent's first widespread culture. Their distinctive fluted stone tools, found across the United States and parts of Canada, have fascinated researchers for over a century. But despite the abundance of artifacts, the true origin of the Clovis people has remained elusive until now. Recent breakthroughs in ancient DNA analysis are providing a clearer, more detailed picture of where these early Americans came from, and the story is both complex and fascinating. According to recent genetic studies, the Clovis people were not an isolated group that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Instead, they represent a population that had already been evolving in the Americas for thousands of years. DNA extracted from ancient skeletal remains indicates that their ancestors migrated from Siberia via Beringia, a land bridge that connected Asia and North America during the last ice age, roughly 15,000 to 20,000 years ago. This migration was not a single event, but part of a series of waves, with Clovis ancestors adapting to harsh, frozen environments before spreading across the continent. What makes this discovery particularly remarkable is that it challenges earlier theories that suggested Clovis technology, and by extension, the people who used it, originated in Europe or South America. Instead, the genetic evidence points to a strong continuity with Paleo-Siberian populations, showing that the innovations seen in Clovis toolmaking were likely developed locally, as these groups adjusted to North America's unique landscapes and resources. Moreover, the DNA evidence helps clarify the timing of the Clovis expansion. By analyzing genetic markers, researchers can estimate when populations diverged and spread, revealing that Clovis people began moving across vast territories around 13,000 years ago. This coincides with the archaeological record, where Clovis points are first seen in New Mexico and then appear almost simultaneously in other regions, from Florida to the Great Plains. These findings not only reinforce the idea that Clovis culture was widespread, but also show that their migration patterns were far more dynamic than previously thought. Another significant revelation from the ancient DNA comes from studying the relationship between Clovis people and earlier American populations. Some experts had speculated that Clovis groups replaced earlier settlers, potentially leading to the extinction of pre-Clovis cultures. However, the genetic data suggests a more nuanced story. Clovis populations may have interbred with earlier inhabitants, resulting in a complex mosaic of ancestry. This helps explain the subtle regional differences observed in Clovis artifacts and supports the idea that cultural and genetic exchange was happening across early North America. The DNA also provides insights into the physical characteristics and health of Clovis people. Analysis of their genomes reveals adaptations to cold climates, as well as dietary patterns consistent with hunting large Ice Age mammals like mammoths and mastodons. These adaptations would have been crucial for survival during a period of rapid environmental change, as glaciers receded and ecosystems transformed. Interestingly, the genetic studies also shed light on the eventual fate of the Clovis people. While their distinctive tool-making tradition disappeared around 12,800 years ago, a phenomenon sometimes linked to the Younger Dryas, a sudden climactic cooling event, their genetic legacy persisted. Modern Native American populations carry traces of Clovis ancestry, showing that although their culture transformed, the people themselves contributed to the broader gene pool of the Americas. This discovery is more than just a footnote in human history. It fundamentally reshapes our understanding of how humans settled and adapted to the New World. By combining archaeological evidence with cutting-edge genetic analysis, researchers are now able to tell a story that is far more detailed and scientifically grounded than ever before. It underscores the power of ancient DNA to answer long-standing questions that material artifacts alone could not resolve. Of course, there are still debates and uncertainties. Some scholars caution that while the genetic evidence is compelling, it represents only a fraction of the populations that existed at the time.
Others are exploring whether similar techniques can be used to trace the origins of other early cultures, potentially rewriting more chapters of human prehistory. Nevertheless, the story of the Clovis people serves as a remarkable example of how modern science can illuminate the lives of people who lived thousands of years ago, revealing not just where they came from, but how they lived, adapted, and ultimately shaped the human story in North America. And that's something worth remembering when you next walk through a museum or a dig site, thinking about the hands that once shaped the first tools of the New World.